It's good to see everybody. And yes. And by the way, I should share with you, Thomas, I know you might have people on the call that don't, that have not attended any of the events that I'm at. So I'll share with everybody. I'm by profession, I'm a psychologist. I had a practice here in Los Angeles for many people. I help people get over fears and phobias and emotional challenges and things that hinder their lives. But by trade, I'm what's called an ultimate performance specialist. And that's kind of a high-end life coach, if you will, in many different areas. And I work with movie stars and Academy Award winners and Grammy winners and major sports figures, you name it, helping people go further, faster. And then the other thing, of course, that I do is I do seminars and workshops. So I know you have some questions for me, Thomas, so fire away. I'm ready.
I do. I don't have that many. I have a few, but I know that you are capable of giving really long, fulfilling answers.
That's why I say write stuff down. Yeah,
exactly. So, being an entrepreneur myself since 25 years ago, could you share with? And I know for a fact, because I know my audience, there's a lot of business owners, there's a lot of entrepreneurs listening in now, watching us. Could you talk a little bit on the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs and achievers in general make? That the typical mistake that they make that cost them eventually time and success. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and that's a great question, because I'm not necessarily going to call them mistakes, but I'm going to call them things to pay attention to that most entrepreneurs don't. Right. And there are several of them, obviously, but I'll give you my top 3, 4 that I know in having worked with so many people over these years. And again, write this down. And so an entrepreneur generally knows what they want, or at least, a vague idea of what they want. So that's always the number one thing is for most people, they don't know what they want. And that's critical, as you're going to find out. But here's what the biggest challenge is with entrepreneurs. All of us are busy. I'm busy. I know you're busy, Thomas. You just finished a workshop. We're all busy. The biggest challenge in getting what you want are distractions. Getting distracted from doing the things that you need to do, should do, would do to get your outcome. Now, I'm going to ask a question, and if you would, please, this is a yes or no question, answer. Just type in your answer on the side here. Do you want what you want sooner rather than later? Simple question. Do you want what you want sooner rather than later? Now, I know the answer because you're entrepreneurs, but please type it in. It's going to be critical that you answer as quickly as you can. Critical because it's going to tell you something about you. If you don't answer and you're going, well, here's my answer, but I'm not going to write it in, then it tells me something about you with regard to taking action and doing something. So put it in there. And I'm seeing overwhelmingly sooner and yes.
There's one shake that ass. There's one shake that ass.
Yeah, shake that ass. We'll talk about that here in a minute because it's important for those of you that have not seen me. Now, here's the reason I say this. If you're not writing an answer, if you're not going on your computer and writing an answer or some way taking the effort to do that, then it tells me something about you. You're distracted by your own thought. And your own thought is going, well, I'll do something else instead of following the instruction, because I promise you, everything that I do has a reason and a purpose. Everything. And even something as simple as this, as a psychologist, and by the way, I'm a neuropsychologist. My doctorate is in neuropsychology. And what that means is I study the relationship between your 5 senses and your behavior. And I won't go into that, but it tells a lot about yourself. So great. So thank you for answering that. So I have a concept that I want you to write down. And I'm going to get back to my answer. The concept is further, faster. That means going where you want to go and further, but doing it quickly. Because if you come into me and you got a fear of dogs, I'm going to help you get over that now, not later. And so it lasts throughout your life. And if you're lagging in anything in your life, I'm going to help you do it now. So what we want is further, faster. And the challenge is, the number one thing is being distracted. People want what they want, and they, entrepreneurs, we work really hard going after what we want, but then we get distracted. We got, you got to take care of your relationship. You got, you got to eat sometimes. You got, Facebook. You've got, emails. You got all those things of getting distracted, and it's happened to me. It's happened to everybody over and over again. You get to the end of your day, and you didn't get done what you needed to get done, but the other things that that showed up were important as well. So the key, the answer to that, to that mistake, if you will, allowing yourself to get distracted, and sometimes we get distracted and we procrastinate and we hesitate. The answer is to train yourself on what I call refocusing, coming back to what you want, coming back to what you need to do, coming back to your plan, coming back to your outcome, even if it's just in thought. Because when you do that, then it renews itself every time, and then you develop the habit of doing that, and you compress time. That's number one. Number two, write this down. So first off, distraction. Number two, write this down, and this is critical, 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 critical for entrepreneurs, for achievers. Is what they do is they make the mistake of believing that hard work and even your plan is what gets your results. And it's not. It's not the biggest thing. Yes, you have to work. Yes, you have to do things, but it's not the biggest thing. You know as well as I do. You know people that have gotten what you want quicker. I just was talking to a guy who sold his company for $300 billion. I'm sorry, $300 million.
Big number.
He's 27 years old. 27 years old. And he started his business 3.5 years ago. 3.5 years ago. So this guy, and he's going to be he's an example of what I'm going to talk to you about. This guy did probably what you wanted to. I'm sure most of you would like to sell your business and at $300 million in 3.5 years. But he did it because, and not just because he worked hard, and not just because he had a great idea. We all have great ideas. He did something different than most people do. And it's something that I learned a long time ago. And it is what I say, secret weapon. It is the key to whomever I coach to go further faster, whomever I work with to go further faster. And that is to help them get themselves rid of that mistake of thinking that hard work and even your plan and all that other stuff that we know, which is important, is the only way. And it's something that I call, I want you to write this down, 60-20-20 rule. 60-20-20 rule. And here's what that means. We've heard for a long time that it's 80% psychology and 20% mechanics, meaning getting your thought process together and having the right attitude, or in this case, astitude, together. That is 80% of it. If you think you can, then you can, and having the mindset and the state and all those things that we work so hard to do. And then 20% of it is actually doing it. And that works, but that's the slow way. There's a third piece. And I say it's 60. And by the way, psychology are just the constant thoughts that you have that run your life. Your thoughts about your beliefs, your thoughts about this and that, the world around you, people, other things. So I still say that it's a bigger piece. It's 60% psychology. And then it's 20% mechanics, meaning the doing. But here's the third piece. Write this down. It's critical. And when you get this, it changes everything. The third piece is 20% attractiveness. And I don't mean just looking good. I mean how you influence people, situations, the world around you to bring things in your life. My friend that I just told you about, and everybody that I know, self included, and even you, if you sit down and think about it, you have an element of fortune, meaning luck or good fortune, things that happen. I was just listening to Sir Richard Branson, a couple days ago. And by the way, when you listen to anybody, Tony Robbins, anybody, they'll always say, well, I was fortunate enough to have this happen. I was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. I was fortunate enough that I learned this. I was fortunate enough to do that. It's not luck, it's fortune. Meaning, and Richard Branson was saying, yeah, I was fortunate enough at age this that I ran into this person or this showed up in my life. And that luck, that fortune, that circumstance, that happenstance, what I subscribe to you is this, that it's manufactured. And when you learn that it's made, and I'm not talking about just the secret and the laws of attraction. That's part of it, yes. But I'm talking about that you, everybody, you, look at me right now, look me in the eyes. And that is this, we all have the ability, it's born into you, it's your birthright, to bring into your lives the situations, the circumstances, and even the material things that you want. So if you're thinking that hard work and knowledge and just doing all this stuff is the only thing, no, that's the slow way. You add this element of attractiveness and learning how to do that changes everything. It changes everything quickly. So I know it's a long answer. Those are my top two things. Number one is always, you know, like I said, for most people, get yourself trained on getting refocused. Number two, get yourself trained on attracting into your life more things. It's mechanical. It's not cosmic stuff anymore. It's mechanical. I taught at the University of Southern California for seven years, and it's mechanical now. It's science. We live in the year 2017 now. It's obvious that there have been some changes, and this is the entrepreneur's edge. Long answer, but you said that I give long answers.
I did, but thanks for sharing. Great answers. Thank you very much. We have a lot of great people on here, by the way. We have people from Italy, Romania, I've seen, Helsinki. Yeah. So they're from all around. They're from all around, Joseph. Okay, so how do we bring more opportunity into life? How do we position ourselves, you know, to be fortunate, or, you know?
Well, first off, we already all are. All we're going to do is enhance it and make it go faster. And the short answer, because we don't have a lot of time, is get yourself trained to do that. And I'm going to give you some steps, but get yourself trained to do that. I should add, let me go back to the last question real quick. The third thing is people stop training, and they feel like they got all the answers and everything. But, you know, I got to be honest with you. Even now, gosh, I'm headed out to a seminar tomorrow. Even now, I'm always learning, always training. You know, if you want an outstanding life, if you want to be a real entrepreneur, whether it's money, whether it's your health, whether it's whatever, you've got to continually train. You know, I work with top athletes, I work with top business people, and they all are continuing training. That's why they hire me. That's why they do this. An athlete does not, you know, train once and then say, I'm good enough. He or she continues to train. And so, you know, I do seminars and webinars and things like that. I teach them, but I also attend them. So having said that, I'm going to give you a couple steps. First off, how you attract more in your life is, you know, the steps are really easy, are really simple. Number one, know what you want. Number two, believe that what you want. And then number three, master the skill of getting yourself to feel it deep in your core, so it's part of who you are. And those are the three main steps. Obviously, you know, we don't have a lot of time to go into them right now, but you start positioning yourself by putting yourself in situations, trainings, workshops, and things like that, that you are, around those kinds of people, but number two, that you're learning strategy for doing so. And here's what I mean by that. It's not just the knowledge. It's not just, you know, oh gosh, I know that, because we all know what to do. People that are fat know how to lose weight.
Yeah.
Quit putting so much food in this hole, you know, you'll lose weight. But they don't always do what they know. And so, you know, one of the things that I pride myself on is not just in the seminar getting people to learn things, but do things. I call it tell, show, try, do. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to show you. We're going to try it together. You're going to do it throughout. And when you do that, then it becomes part of your nervous system, and it becomes, and I want you to write this down. Write this down. Let it become my default. And what that means is, so you don't have to pump yourself up, so you don't have to motivate yourself, so you don't have to do that. It becomes automatic. We all know people that the ball bounces in their favor. They're luckier than most. They succeed quicker than others. And again, I'm telling you, it's not by chance. They might not know they're consciously doing it, but they're doing it. And you're that person as well. But the reality is that you've got to put yourself in that position that you're learning to do that. So it becomes automatic. So you don't have to, like I said, get yourself excited to do something. It happens automatically. Long answer.
Good answer. Thank you very much. And again, we need to take responsibility. I love your answer. Thank you very much. Thank you. You can actually position yourself to be lucky. I love that.
And I love your term right there. Position yourself, because that's exactly what you do. Put yourself in the path of what you want. Because most of us are sitting on the sideline going, well, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And they're missing the train going by. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And then they wake up at 78 years old, and what happened to life? Yeah. Well, anyway, so it's again, position yourself. How can you change it? Because I mean, doing efforts takes energy, right? If you want to do something, you need energy. If you want to position yourself to get lucky or fortunate, you need energy to do stuff, right? How do you change your energy level, or to become, or to position you better to attract more opportunities, to attract? We need to talk energy, because you're an energy guy. You are like you are the energy dude. You are the king of energy. We need to talk about it, Joseph. You no way around it.
Energy is critical. It is. If you don't have the energy, you're not going to do.
No.
But it's all aptitude first.
Thank you.
It is.
It is.
And for those of you who don't know what aptitude is, at UPW and other things I teach is something, I say shake your ass, because when you move that part of your body, it gives you energy. You cannot shake your ass without getting energy. You just can't. Here's the key. It's temporary. In other words, when you do that, right now, I dare you. If you're sitting there, stand up and do one of these. Shake that ass. Do it. Okay? I dare you to do it. If you don't do it, it tells me something about you already. Okay? But what that is mindset. Remember I said 60% psychology. Your energy comes from your brain first, not from something you eat. Listen, if you eat something or drink something and so on and so forth, and you're getting superficial energy, you drink coffee or something, that's only temporary. Okay? But what you want is lasting energy. You want energy that makes you get up early and stay up late and do the things that you need to do. I sleep, I appreciate the compliment, Thomas, but it's true. I got more energy than most people my age. I'm 64 years old. And I sleep maybe 4.5 hours a night, maybe 5 hours a night. I have total energy. I look young. I act young. I feel young and all those things. And it is key, but it's because of my attitude. It's because of what starts here. But not so that I have to make myself do it. I've trained myself. I've learned how to train myself. And it's not that hard. It's much more simple than most people believe. To cause myself to just be this way. It's my belief about myself. It's my belief about the world around me. It's my belief about what comes into my world that makes that happen. So energy is critical. And get away from this thought of, wait, it's only the way that I eat. Yes, I eat a certain way. Yes, I move my body a certain way. But you've got to start here. You've got to get trained to do that. And don't go to the normal stuff, if you will. The normal stuff says, if you just eat this way and you just exercise this way, then you'll have lots of energy. No, that's not necessarily true. There's something different. There's something new. That's the whole further, faster concept.
Yeah, it's also about your belief system, right? I mean, absolutely. If you believe it's all about this one particular thing, what you eat, well, you're missing the train again. There's a lot of things to do. Yeah. So how do you? I mean, beliefs is fundamental when it comes to personal success, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
So because I know that you can talk a lot on this topic, but how do you change your beliefs?
Well, let's talk about beliefs, because there's 3 different beliefs.
Okay.
There's beliefs about yourself.
Yeah.
There's beliefs about other people, and there's beliefs about the world around you.
Yeah.
And we've got, most of us, 99% of us don't know where those beliefs come, and we don't even think about what those beliefs are. But let's start with the first one. Belief about yourself, what I call your identity. It's the number one thing. What you believe you're capable of, your self-worth, your value, what you believe about your, all of those things. That determines how you feel. And belief is just a thought, by the way. It's an unquestioned thought. And all of those things make you feel a certain way. And it's not something that you notice all the time. It's just how you go through your life. If somebody says, hey, you can make $1 million in the next year, whatever comes into your mind is your belief about yourself first. You may say, yeah, that's easy for you. You may say, yes, I can do it. You may say, oh, that's a bunch of crap. But whatever it is, it stems from your beliefs.
Right.
And then the second, about what you believe about other people and so on and so forth. So the answer to your question is how you change those beliefs. Write this down, 3 things. Now, by the way, I'm going to give you just these basics, and then obviously it's what I teach in a longer form, but it's critical you get this. Number 1, become aware of what you already believe. Write it down. What do you believe about yourself? And don't make it up, you know, because most people say, if I ask them, they go, well, I believe I'm the best, I believe all those things, and they're just saying that stuff, but I can tell in their body they don't, because every single one of us has doubts, fears, frustrations, self-esteem, and so on and so forth, and a lack of certainty, and so on and so forth. So first off, write down what you believe. Step number 2, write down what you want to / should believe to get the outcome that you want. If you believe, like for example, if you believe that you're not worthy of money and you're not worthy of prosperity, what should you believe? What would you believe? Obviously that you are and that you're awesome. And then number 3, write down, and number 3 is get trained on how to set it inside yourself, because just affirmations and stuff like that and just reading it over and over to yourself, that's one thing. That's the slow way to do it, but obviously get some training on changing those beliefs. So I know those are very vague, but I do want you to understand that if you do nothing at all, you know, if you just left this seminar right now and or this webinar right now and just wrote down, okay, here's what I truly believe. You know, I don't believe I'm good enough, or I don't believe that I can make money. I don't believe that I have good ideas. And you just write that stuff down. Your brain starts to rewire itself, and it starts to recognize that, wait a minute, that's where I was. And then the second thing goes, what should I believe? And then write that down. And then search for references, search for ways to prove that wrong. Or more specifically, I keep using this word, default. Learn how to make the good belief your default. So you don't have to think about it all the time. So you don't have to go, I'm great, I'm awesome, all that stuff and everything. That stuff's great, but it's the slow way. Yeah. There's ways of instilling it inside your nervous system so there's just your belief of who you are. You know, I go places, Thomas, and, you know, there's lots of situations where I go and I could be intimidated. I could be scared or whatever, but I'm not, because my belief about myself is, my attitude about myself is, I'm a badass. Yeah. You know, as arrogant as that sounds, that's my belief inside. I don't say that to other people on the street. I say that to you and the people that are on this call right now. But that came from me instilling it in my nervous system. That's the way I walk the planet. And I want you to have that kind of attitude as well. And you want it. You know you want it.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. All right. So you mentioned your concept of going further faster, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Going further faster. So please share with us a little bit on what you mean when you say going further faster.
I'll give you the 4 keys. 3 of them I already gave you. The 4th one I usually hold till later, but you asked, so I'll tell you. Number 1, okay, remember, know your psychology. Number 1 is always your thought process, because it goes like this, Thomas, and everybody out there. Really simple. I believe in simplicity. It goes like this. How we think determines how we feel. How we feel determines what we do. What we do determines what we'll get or what we produce. Think, feel, do, results. Mind, spirit, body, results. Okay? So the keys are this. Number 1, learn the process of changing your psychology to the most resourceful and best psychology that suits your outcome. Let me repeat myself. Learn the skill of embedding it in your nervous system so that it's automatic, so that it's who you are, so that resourceful thoughts, attitude, everything is automatic and is in line with what you want. Because most people, it's not. People believe, I got to motivate myself, or I got to do this, I got to work hard, and so on and so forth. Yes, those things are important, but you don't want to have to remind yourself, okay? Number two, your plan, your strategy, even for what I just talked about, of making sure it gets done. 20% of everything. The plan, your strategy of doing that. You know, don't try and do it on your own. My biggest asset in life is I've got great coaches and mentors, and I go to workshops, I go to seminars, and I learn from those people, and then I do what they say. Yeah. Okay? The third piece is attract it into your life. Listen, you already do it, but just learn how to expand it, increase it. Learn the skill so that it's automatic. So you, again, I hope this doesn't sound arrogant. Nope. But my attitude is, of course, what I want is dancing its way into my life right now. I'm going to go get it. Even if a challenge shows up, even if something happens, I boldly step up and go after it. That's my attitude. Even if it seems unlikely, that champion attitude shows up, and I do it anyway. Even if, listen, I say to people this, I want you to experience life with no limits. And what that means is, I want you to go somewhere, and let's just talk about money for a moment. I want you to be able to go somewhere and you want something. I don't care whether it's a car, whether it's a house or whatever, and you go, I want that, I'm going to get it. Money's not an object. It's such an unbelievable freeing feeling. Yeah. Unbelievable. I'll give you a story. I shared this on the other webinar, and that is this. It was Amsterdam, as a matter of fact, 25 years ago, when I first became financially free, independent. And it's the feeling I want you to have. And remember, I'm only talking about finances now because it's the same with your body. It's the same with other things in your life. I was in Amsterdam, and I was walking down the street, and I passed a jewelry store. Now, I'm not a big jewelry guy, but I saw a watch. As a matter of fact, maybe you can see behind. Yeah. See that blue behind me? Can you see that blue? Can you see that blue background back there? All right. Yeah. Okay. This watch was solid gold. Let me move so I can have that behind me. It was solid gold. And the face of the watch was that color blue. It was beautiful. And it had 12 diamonds in it. It was beautiful. Now, this is 25 years ago. And I said, I want that watch. And for the first time in my life, I didn't think, I wonder how much it cost. I walked in the store, and I said, I'd like to purchase that watch. And she goes, do you know how much the watch is? And I go, no. I still want it. And no matter what she said, I was going to buy the watch. And I thought maybe, okay, $5,000. It wound up being $10,000. That's 25 years ago. But I said, I don't care. I want the watch. And so what I'm trying to say is the feeling that I got when that was no object. It was just buy it. And so I just bought. And so what I'm saying to you is I want you to have that feeling as well. Whether it's your body, whether it's finances, whether it's whatever it is, I want you to have that as well. Okay. So number one is to your attitude. Number two is your strategy, your training, whatever. And then number three is learn the process of attracting stuff into your life. And when you do, everything changes. The fourth step is, you guys know this, it has a lot to do with attitude. And the fourth step is celebrate, damn it. Yep. You got to. It is absolutely key absolutely key. You've got to celebrate. You've got to reward yourself. You've got to praise yourself. You've got to shake that ass every opportunity that you get, because that's part of the formula, by the way. People throw that stuff away. They think I'm kidding around about it, but it's the most important. Those are your 4 things.
People are celebrating now on the chat.
Oh, good. Yeah, I see it. I see it on the thing there. This is awesome. Thank you, everybody.
We got a great audience here. We got a great audience with this. So anyway, thanks for answering those questions. Thank you very much. Great answers. And now I want you to, if it's okay, I'd like you to talk a little bit more about this event that we are doing with you in Amsterdam, the A Factor in October. Because we've come together, a number of European promoters, and we have been so fortunate because we positioned ourselves in the right way to get you to actually come and do a European event for 3 days in Amsterdam. And thanks for that. I mean, it's a great opportunity. We look much forward to that. I hope you would like to share with us a little bit on what's going to go down during those 3 days.
Sure. As a matter of fact, and first off, I hope I've earned the right for everybody to be able to share this with you. Yes, and Caroline, you freaking rock too. I have not been in Europe doing my own workshops for almost 6 years now, Thomas. I've been really on the other side of the world, Australia and the other countries, and this is the first time I've come back, and I'm doing something we call the A Factor, or something that I call magnetic success. And please write this down, because this is critical. Even just getting the concept will change how you are. It's 3 things. Number 1, and by the way, it is what I call the A Factor. A stands for the attraction factor. And it's how to become a magnet to the things that you want. It's how to do all those things that I said before. Step number 1 is not just learning it, and not just understanding it, because knowledge is not power, but the laws or the concept, the strategy, the process of attracting abundance into your life. And remember, whether it is your own health, whether it's your wealth, whatever it is in your life, that's the secret weapon, if you will. This whole concept of doing that. So day number 1, and that is it. And by the way, this is I never teach theory. In other words, I don't teach you something that I haven't done myself, or something that I can't show you proof of it. And you're going to experience proof of it there at the event. And what that means is I'm going to show you the process. We're going to do it right there. You're going to attract some things in your life, and your brain will go, oh my goodness, this works. And I'm going to show you it working. I'm going to show you that it has worked, and you'll have that skill. And then and with every single step, you're going to put it in your nervous system so it becomes part of you. The second piece is, listen to me, procrastination, hesitation, fear of failure, fear of success. They're the thieves of our dreams, and they're all fear-based. It's great that most of us have learned how to put ourselves in state in the moment to get ourselves to do some amazing things, storm across coals, to step up and do that. But you don't want to have to do that every time, because it becomes unconscious. So I say to you, everybody write this down. Bring me your worst nightmare. And what that means is, bring me your biggest fear, your worst inhibition, your worst memory, your worst event, anything that you've got that bothers you, that holds you back, that makes you, hesitate or do anything. Bring it with you. Because I'm going to show you, or you're going to show you at Tell, Show, Try, Do, how to not just get rid of it and make it processional so that it goes out through your life. There's going to be a point, and this is my favorite day, on day number 2. There's going to be a point that you're going to go like this. Watch very closely. You're going to go, I can't feel that. You can't even remember it. You won't even be able to. And it's not going to be something that I do to you. It's going to be something that we do together. You're going to learn it. You're going to have that tool, and you are going to do it. And in that way, it's not me. So you don't have to have Joseph McClendon with you all the time to make you change. It becomes automatic who you are. It's my most exciting day. It's a thing that you're going to do. And you have that tool. So bring it. You're going to learn that skill of doing that. So that's what I call emotional mechanics. You're going to learn how, because listen, You don't want to have to continue to motivate yourself. You don't want to have to continue to talk yourself into do something or wait for something to happen. You want to get yourself to courageously, boldly step up and do stuff, okay? So the next thing is, hang on a second. I have a company here. Come on in and go ahead and look around. I'll be finished in just a moment. I have a guest that just came in. Come on in. Yeah, I'm actually multitasking here. So day number 3, the third thing is this. Remember what we talked about beliefs. This is critical. Your beliefs about what you do change everything. So day number 3 is about beliefs, but it's that number 1 thing. It's identity day. I call it true you. Your identity about yourself does everything. It's the number 1 belief that we have. And no matter what you believe about yourself, I call it your bulletproof belief, your bulletproof identity. You're going to walk out of there with absolutely a bulletproof identity that fuels you to go further, faster. And it's not something you're going to question. It's going to be your belief. And it is so exciting. You're going to be off the chain. Now, we're going to have a lot of fun at this event. However, fun is part of the learning process. You guys know me, so that it sticks with you. The dates are October 27th through 29th, so you got plenty of time. And you may be thinking to yourself, okay, well, wait a minute, you know, that's too far off. Remember this. Remember this. Matter of fact, you might want to write this down. Life is exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune favors the bold.
Yep.
This is part of attracting what you want. And what that means is, just like I had you writing down, just saying that right there, your efforts at doing something and putting it in and making the declaration and the commitment to doing something, that starts the universe to start to bring into your life the things that you want. You know that. You've had circumstances, you've had situations where stuff just showed up. This is the first step in doing so. So set the stakes in the ground. We put it far enough out. It's in Amsterdam. It's in the Netherlands in October. It's the first and probably the only time for some time that I'm coming back to Europe to do this. It's called the A Factor, or I call it magnetic success. You become the magnet to the things that you want. It's 3 days. I own you for 3 days. At the end of that 3 days, it's a whole different you. Yep. And yeah, I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it takes place in Amsterdam because it's a great location. It is in the middle of Europe, and as I said, we are a number of promoters from different countries that come together to arrange this event with you, to attract you to come over. So we found that Amsterdam would be a good place. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Anything else you want to elaborate on the A Factor, or because otherwise I suggest, you know, if you feel up for it, maybe some of the audience have a few questions.
Yeah. Give me the questions and then I'll wrap it up. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see if okay, guys out there. What are the dates?
Yeah.
There's one. I'm on you. that's the rowdy audience. So before we start getting questions in here, maybe you want to talk a little bit more on one of the things that I really think is particularly interesting is this identity thing. Could you share just a few more words on that?
Yeah, and that's such a great question because it's the number one thing. It really is how you feel about yourself, what you believe about yourself. Most of us don't even know. And if you dig really deep, most of us don't have that high opinion of ourselves. And if we do, we have some guilt about that. But here's what I'll say. Number one, that whole concept and that whole process, and it is a process that we're going to do, is designed to get you to decide what you want to believe about yourself, number one, without fear, and then put it deep inside yourself. So remember what I said before about beliefs? Find out what you already believe, you know, and we have a process to take you through to do that. And then number two, find out what you should believe. This process that we do there, it's actually, it's fun, it's exciting, that kind of thing, but it means so much because you walk away with an absolute bullet-proof identity. Nothing can harm you, nothing can touch you. I'll give you an example. And by the way, remember what I had everybody write down, and that is that you want to train yourself so that you automatically default to a more resourceful state.
Right.
And so I'll give you a perfect example. And I use myself as an example because I won't teach theory. I won't teach you something that I don't do myself. It's been a little over a month and a half ago now. While I was away at a seminar, some cowards, thieves, broke into my home and tore my safe out of my house and stole a bunch of my possessions.
Wow.
And when I learned about it, yeah, it was terrible. When I learned about it, it was 5:30 in the morning. I was in Florida. And I learned about it. I was angry. I was pissed off. I was upset. I felt violated, and I was hurt. And it just hurt because the things that I lost can never be replaced. And I was that way for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it all changed automatically. Now, I'm telling you, I was not happy. I wasn't excited that this happened. But my brain went to resourcefulness. Okay, what do I do next? Okay, what's next? And because I did, it made, you know, the circumstances, the situations better. Now, the reason I say that is that's what I want to train you to do, to default to that. Because stuff is going to happen. It's part of the process. And then when you do, and distractions are going to happen. But what you want to do is have, when a distraction happens, it triggers you to go, okay, wait a minute, what's the most important thing? What should I do? Mm-hmm. So that is critical. I look forward to sharing that with you. But you have some questions.
We have a few good questions coming up here. Let me pick one here. Torben is asking, could you suggest some tools for keeping the training or keeping up the momentum and not falling out, after you've been to a seminar, after you've learned stuff?
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, it's a skill. It's a skill. In other words, everybody gets distracted. And it's a skill. So learn to develop the skill of refocusing. And so the suggestions are, you can do the simple stuff like affirmations, and I use my phone all the time to remind me, things like that. Those are great and everything, but you want it to be automatic. People always ask me, look, people want to lose weight and people want to be healthier. They go, well, gosh, how do I remind myself to feel good about, not eating cake or the stuff that's harming me? You don't want to have to remind yourself. You want it to be automatic. Get some training on how to do that. And again, one of the greatest assets that I have is I've got a lot of great coaches that have coached me and still do.
Yeah, it's fantastic to hear one of the greatest coaches alive, yourself having coaches. I love that. That is yeah. But it's true though. I mean, everybody, no matter what level they are at, they still have coaches.
Yeah. It's like I said. It is. I mentioned that in the three the biggest mistakes is people think that that they got it all. No, you got to get training. Training never stops.
No, it's true. One of our audience, Per, he actually it's a bit along those lines. He asked if you could what book are you reading now, or is there a book that you can recommend, a particular book right now?
The greatest book. As a matter of fact, let me find one. I don't have one here. I'm in my library actually, and. Stay right there. I'll be right back. I'll get it for you.
We'll stay. We'll stay tuned. Yeah, exactly. Get happy now. Yeah.
You can get it on Amazon. All kidding aside, I wrote this book for that reason. It's about attitude. It's about changing your attitude and so on and so forth. And, books are great and they're awesome. I've got 7 books. They're awesome, but you got to put yourself in a situation. Put yourself in that situation where, there's an old saying, and I should have it in front of me, but it basically says that when man or woman commits, heaven and earth, providence is what they call it, shows up to hand you or to assist you in your outcomes, right, in your goals. And so that's what it's all about. If you're scared, you got to commit. If you're frustrated, you got to commit to doing whatever it takes to make that happen. If you see a clearer path of doing something that your knowledge, not your fear, your knowledge says, well, wait a minute, of course that's true. Then let me do it. I've been in so many situations. Remember, I just had you write it down. Fortune favors the bold. You want to create more fortune? Step up. Name of the game.
Thanks. Great book, by the way. Highly recommended. We have a few people asking or stating that I didn't tell you how you could meet Joseph in Amsterdam, but we'll get back to that. Don't worry. At the end of this webinar in about 10 minutes, we'll send you the details and links to how you can secure a place. No worries. I have a question here. It's a bit along the lines you already answered it. I have Oriel asking how to let go of anger when your ex is rude, something that happens to all of us.
Oh gosh, well,
very, very particular.
Here's the answer to that. You're not going to change her as quickly as you're going to change yourself.
Yeah. And
the simple answer is learn the skill of what I call emotional mechanics, and that is the skill of interrupting your own pattern and deciding what you would rather do. I had you write it down. Defaulting to the thing that is that's most resourceful. What do you want to feel? If you're angry, what would you rather feel? What should you feel? What is the better feeling? Write that down first, and then study it, and then notice where you are those things. Then learn the process of replacing it with that. Repetition is the mother of all skill. If you just go feel bad, feel good, feel bad, feel good, then eventually your feeling bad is going to make you feel good. We've all got people like that in our lives, and when they show up, it changes everything. So you just, again, it's a skill.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Any more questions out there? Ranjana, you said you wanted to ask a question, so please write it here. But I have, this is a good question from Marco. I love this question.
I see it.
You see it, huh? Which are the most important rituals that you have in your daily life? Lovely question.
I will show you the most important one.
That's great.
I have several rituals that I do, obviously, for me, energy, as I said before, is very, very important. So, you don't have to remember all these things, but it's the air you breathe, water you drink, food you eat, thoughts you think, moves you make, words you speak, sleep you take, things you seek. Now, those are my 8 pillars of energy, if you will. And so I wake up every morning, take some deep breaths. I drink a lot of ionized water. I eat the right foods, and all these things I've been trained to do. I have, just like I was saying before, my attitude, what I say to myself and what I speak and all those things. And all those things are automatic with me right now.
Yeah.
Automatic. They're not something I have to think about. They're not something I have to guess about. I'm not perfect. And so those rituals are things that I do, and I have schedules of stuff that I do. And one of those most important is I'm always constantly, praising myself and praising and recognizing all of those things as well. And so it sounds like a lot of stuff, but I make it really, really simple. And most importantly is to change this so that it becomes automatic.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many. I've been at the UPW 8 times. I've seen you 8 times, and I've seen what you can do with people in 1.5 days. Which if we and now we have you for 3 days, which is fantastic. Can you talk a little bit about how the days are how it's gonna take place? Is it long days, or can you talk a little bit about how yeah.
They're long days, but you won't notice it. It'll go by so fast. And I pack it in there. And like I said, day number 1, we are going to actually learn, do, and receive that whole attraction process. It's going to blow you away. You're going to love it. And I think day number 1 starts. Don't quote me on this because I don't have the times in front of me. But usually we start, pretty early in the morning, maybe 8 or 9, at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then we go till about the same time in the evening. And you'll get, dinner breaks and lunch breaks and things like that. And but it's working. And what that means is it's called total immersion. And through the entire time, you're going to be doing something so that by the end of the 3 days, you're used to doing it. Yep. If I can get somebody for even just a day to stay within that, then I can get them to develop a habit that's going to keep on going. And then day number 2, like I said, you're going to work on you. You're going to work on your inhibitions, all this stuff. And then day number 3, you're going to work on your identity. and we're going to get results.
Wow, I love it. How many seats will be available, Andreas? Speakers Club has secured 100 seats for this event.
It's not a big
no, it's not a huge event. So yeah, come along. It's going to be great. Actually, sorry.
There's one thing I wanted to say. I keep this small so that I can have a lot of interaction with you. And, because obviously you guys, some of you that have been to UPW, there are 9,000-10,000 people there. And it's very hard for people to get the personal experience. So we keep it small for that reason.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. That's a very good point. Thank you very much. Actually, maybe a final question before we say goodbye and thank you for tonight. Ranjana is actually, she has a great question. She's doing her first speaking engagement in New York. Bravo, by the way. And she good one. And she wants to know how she can take the stage without being fearful. Yeah, that's a great question, because that is
the quickest answer I can give you, Ranjana, is to see and practice this before you do that. See it when it's over. And what that means is what keeps you fearful and so on and so forth is you're thinking about the event itself. And you're imagining how if you fail on stage and all those things. And I see this all the time. Instead, see yourself walking off to a smattering of applause and everybody loving you. Yeah. See it, we call it future pace, when it's over and you're happy and you're excited and you're glad it's done. Yeah. Live in that moment versus the moment that you've been living in. Interrupt your pattern, stop yourself, write it down, go, I'm walking off the stage and everybody's excited. I'm so glad this is over. I did such an amazing job. Make it up. Live in that and it'll start to go away. Keep interrupting your own pattern. That's the quickest answer I can give you.
Yeah, great.